Hey guys, Danny from Your Guitar Academy again, and I'm going to be showing you how to play that track. I'm also going to be giving you some big tips on blues fingerstyle in general, because it is similar to typical blues playing and it's similar to typical fingerstyle playing, but there are a couple of things, especially this thumb movement, that really kind of make it stand out. And this is kind of along the lines of like a kind of delta kind of style, almost like a Robert Johnson style type thing that we can do. It's super fun, and I'm gonna first of all give you 3 top tips that you need to start thinking about when playing fingerstyle blues, and then I'll break down this piece, because typically when it comes to learning fingerstyle blues in this style, you know, we need to learn a piece to actually apply all of these ideas. So first thing I want to talk about, the first top tip, is that thumb, that right hand. This thumb is doing our beat, okay? So what we find with this style, if you ever listen to this first kind of passage, right? What you're hearing there is that low E string plodding along on the 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the kind of the magic that's happening all the way through this track. That's why this is extra hard, I think, because you've got to learn how to have that thumb being a little bit more independent to the other fingers, so that it can just consistently on the beat do this. Okay. Now, the way we actually go through that is by learning a piece like this. You're gonna actually see, okay, where are the thumb beats in relation to the kind of chordal or lick beats, and you do a bit of scientific kind of matching up. So, okay, on the 1, I hit the thumb, on the 2, I hit the thumb and this, for example. We'll go through it in detail in a minute. But that's how you actually work through this idea of that kind of thumb moving. And then gradually, as you get the track under your belt and it starts to kind of sync up, you'll start to hear that thumb just doing what it does. And it starts to become possible to actually improvise a little bit more like that, because you'll have that feeling of how the thumb just moves, okay? So that's the first thing that really kind of separates blues fingerstyle to like your kind of normal kind of fingerstyle. It's that kind of like consistent downstroke with the thumb. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is matching that up to your beat with your foot, okay? So really typically you'll see blues guys, and they'll actually be creating like a percussive hit with the foot. Okay, so I'm on a lovely carpet here, so I can't kind of generate that kind of hit. But the key thing is that what I want you to think is, as you're doing these downbeats with the thumb, I want you to also match that up to your foot, whether it's your right foot or your left foot, whatever you feel most comfortable with, doesn't matter. For me, kind of, it makes sense with the left foot, because my right foot is holding me up on this stool. So the left foot will be doing the hitting. And as I hit those downstrokes of 1, 2, 3, 4, my foot is also going to be doing these hits. Okay, so ideally on some wooden floor or something like that, so you can hear a pulse. And we'll just watch my kind of leg here. You can't see the foot, but the leg. So see how it's just staying in time? So that foot is keeping the pulse alongside that bass note hit. Okay, so that's the second thing you need to know. Now, the third thing that we're talking about is then the separation, of course, is on the other side of things. So what are we doing with the rest of the fingers and all the chords and the licks? So in this particular track, and I'll walk you through it as we go, we're kind of doing a combination of just a very basic chord progression, a kind of blues in E, and lots of licks around those chords. So at its absolute center, this progression is simply just E, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So E7 or E major, then A7 or A major. So I'm starting with this kind of A major. We'll get to that in a minute, but it's basically just an A7 chord. Let's keep it simple. And then back to that E. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go up to the 5 chord of B7. 2, 3, 4. A 4 chord, and then back to the E. We do a little turnaround, which we'll talk about when we get to it. But really, that's all this is. It's a very, very simple 12-bar blues, okay? If you're not sure the format of any of this, or you want some extra written up detail, as well as getting the tab for this piece as well, do click the link in the description where we have the full blog post. It's all completely free. You can even download the audio files to work with as well, so it makes it even more fun. Because you'll notice with the audio file, I did play along with a beat to kind of, typically this might be like a free time thing, but playing along with a beat helps you guys learn it. So that's why I've done that. So there's a backing track there for you as well. All in the link in the description. Now, alongside those basic chords, we're kind of using our pentatonic shapes and ideas like that to create cool little licks. And part of the fun of acoustic fingerstyle, blues fingerstyle, is being able to hear the bass note and then those licks and those chordal tones individually. So again, let me just clarify that the way we do that isn't just by like hoping that we'll kind of bring it together in some kind of improvisational fashion. It's learning it extremely strictly, as I'm about to go through with you guys now. So with that all said, let's work through the tab, and we're going to do, literally, we're going to do bar by bar. So the first bar sounds like this. Okay, oh, that's the first 2 bars, I should say. So we'll do each phrase bit by bit. So there's a load going on there, absolute ton. I'd highly recommend checking out the tab on the website, which is in the link below. But I'm going to go through it as well as I can here. So first things first, we're going to be hitting this kind of, this is all based around the E7, and we're using this E minor pentatonic in the open strings and the box 2 to generate our licks. And those shapes are over on the website as well. So we're starting with this cool little, so let's just learn that lick first, and then we'll apply the bass bit, okay? So we're starting by just sliding this over from 3rd fret to 4th fret and 2nd fret to 3rd. We're gonna hit that twice, and then we're gonna slide down and pull off. So this is a very quick grace note slide. Slide down, pull off, and then we're gonna hit that root note there. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to hammer on from the 0 to 1. So this is the major 3rd of the E, and then the high E string. So that first lick together is this. Now, there's no right or wrong when it comes to the fingers. Just don't use your thumb, because remember, the thumb has to be here doing this. So you can use your 2nd and 3rd, your 1st and 2nd fingers, your 2nd and 3rd fingers, whatever feels comfortable to you. And of course, if you've really never done fingerstyle at all, then I highly recommend going through our acoustic fingerstyle level 1 to start to get a bit of independence with these fingers, so you can decide which fingers you use. So you might see me kind of shift, but I'm typically going to use my 1st, 2nd and 3rd rotated throughout here. So that's my first lick. Okay. Now, when I put that with the thumb, and this is what you're going to need to do, we need to decide where those thumb hit placements are in relation to this kind of lick that we're doing here, okay? So it has to be on the beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first thumb hit comes at the same time as I do the slide. So that's the first thing you want to try and do. So thumb and first, okay? And then you're going to do the kind of this high note again, but we don't have the thumb. So it's like 1 and. Okay. Then you've got 2 beats in the middle. So you've got the beat 2 and the beat 3 where we're just going 2, 3. So you get this. So 1 and 2, 3. Okay. Then we're going to do on the 4th beat, we're going to do that slide down. Oh. So it's a little triplet. Triplet. But on that 4th beat, we hit the low thumb as well. So as we do the start of this lick as well, we've got to now add the thumb. So this is what I'm talking about when I say that we really do break it down beat by beat. So that first bar that is 1 and 2, 3, 4. Okay. And And then as we move into the next bar, this whole happens on the first beat with the thumb. So I hit the G string and the E string at the same time. Okay. And then I've got beat number 2 and 3 are open again. Okay. So the second bar, sorry. Again. Okay. And then right at the end of that bar, I'm going to do the open E string again, and I do this little. Okay. So it's just another little lick just in that minor pentatonic. I'm just doing a hammer on from A to B, and then the open D string. But of course that starts on the beat number 4, so I have to hit the low strum as well, so like this. So altogether, that first phrase with the thumb and the fingers and a little bit of counting sounds like this. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's as much detail as I'm going to go into. I highly recommend, in terms of that first bit, I highly recommend going back over that as many times as you need. And I would recommend it's going to be quite a few times because it's really fiddly stuff. And this is going to be the hardest bit, just getting that first part together. Once you start to get a bit of a feel for how this kind of process works, the rest might come together a lot quicker. Okay. So also there's repetitive licks in there as well, which does really, really help. So, that is our first part, and now we're going to move on to the next 2 bars, which again is E, but slightly different. The next bit sounds like this. Okay, so it's so similar, but the only difference is we're not starting on the 1 beat with our lick. This time the lick starts on the 2 beat. Okay, so the lick goes 1, 2, and. But the rest of it's exactly the same. So 1, 2, and. So we know that lick already. We just got to put it in a slightly different place and use the thumb. So the thumb does the 1. So 1, 2. So again, we do the thumb on the 2 and the fingers on the 2. So 1, 2. And 3. So 1, 2, and 3 with the thumb. And then 4 with the thumb and the lick. And then the rest is exactly the same from there. Okay? So we get 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Again, take your time with that bit. Go over it as many times as you need. And just, it's literally just a case of drilling in what beat is my thumb on, what beat is my lick on, and just matching the 2 together. And as you do that, it'll start to set into place. But it does take time. This process takes time. Go easy on yourself. Trust me. Then, where are we next? So then we've just got this cool little lick leading up to the A chord. So this is all E7 so far. And then we're going to go like this. Really simple little chromatic build-up. We do the open E string, then the G note, G sharp, and then A on the open string. Or if you like, A on the 5th fret. Doesn't really matter. You just hit it quickly. Or. And that takes us into the next bar. So far we've got this. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4 E and A, or I should say 4 triplet. That's like a triplet there. Triplet, triplet. Love a good triplet. Triplet. 1, 2, 3, and then we're into the next bar. Okay? So there we have it. That's all the things that you're doing over the E7 chord. Now let's get into the A7 chord, which sounds like this. So a lot going on here. Okay, lots of triplets. So first of all, we're going to do this classic Robert Johnson move, which is, I'm just going to talk about licks first, and then we'll do the placement of the beat with the thumb. So we do this kind of classic kind of A major to A7. So, you know, it's just that A major chord, but we're really trying to stretch out to get the high root note of A, because then we drop it down to the flat 7, which gives us a lovely dominant 7th chord. So we get A and A7 like this, okay? Again. And you can kind of hit that with the 3 fingers, or you can strum that. 3 fingers. Doesn't really matter too much how you do that bit. It's just that you can get that stretch. That stretch is really hard. But you can always use that as an A major chord. It's really cool, right? And that's your dominant cage chord. Cool little cage version of that, like a G shape. But we won't get into that now. That's for another day. So you're going to hit those 2. So in terms of the beat placement for those 2, the first beat of the bar is just the open A. So that's on the 1. Then on the 2, you're going to go. So 2 and. So the 2, you hit the beat on the big A chord. And then you don't hit a beat on the upstroke of the A7. So you get 1, 2, and then of course on the 3 and the 4 you're going to do just the open A. Okay? So 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, like that. Now, this is probably a good time to just specify that quite a lot of time you're hearing I'm muting. I'm not going. You can do that, but it gives you a different sound. I want that kind of plodding, walking along, that kind of thing. So all I'm doing is I'm just lightly muting the E and the A string all the way through the track. So just leaning the palm, the fatty palm of the thumb bit here onto the back of the strings near the bridge, just to get that really cool. You can still hit the note, but it's nice and deadened. Not too deadened like this. You want to kind of open it up, something along there. It's a bit of experimentation as to where to put the hand there, but that's something to notice. Now, we're on to one of the harder licks here where we're going to do lots of triplet work. So here, over the A, I'm very much thinking about my A minor pentatonic. So I'm thinking that I've got an A minor pentatonic box 5, and I've got a box 4 here. A little harder in the open strings, but that's where those boxes are, okay? Now, I'm going to use that to do this lick. So let's just do that first, okay? This is a simple triplet idea. So we're going to count triplet, 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 triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the triplets, okay? So I'm just doing the 3rd fret and the 5th fret together from that box 5 pentatonic. And I'm going to slide into it, just a semitone slide initially. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, just like that. And then I'm going to take this 5th fret, slide it back to the 3rd, pull off to the 1st, and then 2nd fret here. Again. Triplet. So not the hardest lick in the world by itself, but when you combine it with the bass note, it does get a bit harder. So the bass note on the 1, 2, 3, 4. So every time we say tri of the triplet, you're going to hit the bass note like this. Triplet, 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 triplet. Or you can say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So take your time with that one. Let's work through those 2 together. So we get 1, 2, and 3, 4. Triplet, 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 triplet. Okay. And then the good news is we're now back to the E7 chord where we repeat basically the exact same thing, where we go like this. 1, 2. So exactly the same lick that we did in the second lick of this whole thing. Okay, so exactly the same when it comes in off the 1 beat. It gives us a little bit of extra time. Okay, so let's just play everything we've got up to there, and then we'll do the last section. So we've got this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then back to this one. Okay, and then we've got the lead up to the B. Nice and simple. G, A sharp, B. And we're going to fret the B7 chord. And here we're just going to go a 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's exactly the same as the way I did the A7. Exactly the same rhythm. I'm just doing it all on one chord here, the B7 chord. If you're not sure of these shapes, do check out the chord diagrams in the description. So in the write-up, we've got a full list of chord diagrams, tab, everything you need. So, okay, so it's 1, 2, and 3, 4. So this is going 2 and the thumb's just doing its thing. Of course, 1, 2, and 3, 4. And then we've got a big lick. Okay, so over this A, we're going to do our E minor pentatonic because why not? And it sounds like this. Okay, so a really classic blues lick. So you do use the tab in the write-up below, but I'll just take you through it quickly. So we're going to go 3, 0, 0. Think of it in triplets. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So 2, 0, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 1, 2. So 3, 0. And then back to the second fret. So we get this. And then here we're going to try and bend up a semitone. Up, down, off, and then down to the E. So this lick, you've got to think in triplets. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then you're down to the E. Kind of a cool lick. Notice all the little quarter bends on the pretty much every first note. Quarter bend, quarter bend, quarter bend, and then this one is a. So this bit is obviously tricky because you're trying to do a half bend. And obviously on heavier acoustic strings, that's a bit tricky, but it's something we can really work towards. Notice all the way through this, I'm kind of not as fussed about what fingers I'm using here because I'm not doing any bass notes. So this is without bass notes. This is just me doing like a break. So I'm going to go on the first note, I'm going to hit the A as I hit this note. But after that, the whole thing is just playing the lick. So you can see I'm using my thumb a little bit more because of that. And then I go back into the last part of the track. So if I just do that B7 to A7 section, we get this. Down to the low E, and then I'm going to do my classic turnaround. Okay, so the turnaround section is very, very simple. We're going to start on this kind of E7 chord, but without the E string, so it's just this one. And I'm going to drop it down. I'm going to do it in triplets again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just semitone each time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm just going to hit the top of that E major chord. Again, do check the tab if you're unsure. And then we're going to go open A sharp, B for the turnaround. So that without the bass notes is this. 1. And with the bass notes, remember, just on every start of each triplet, we're going to hit that low E string. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then do the open E, and then just do the little walk up. So that section altogether is 1, triplet, 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 E. And there we have the whole track. Oh my God, that takes a long time to work through, and it's gonna take a lot longer than that to start playing. I remember when I first did a kind of delta thing like this, the matching up of the thumb and the other chords, it just takes ages, okay? So really do be patient with this. It might be that for the next month, you're just doing the first 2 bars. Not a problem. That is gonna be could be the only way to start getting this together. But trust me, as it starts to get together in the fingers, it's like a rolling stone. It keeps getting easier and easier. So to finish off this rather epic lesson, I'm going to play the whole thing through, and I'm going to do it freestyle. So without the drum beat. Remember, if you want the drum beat, you want the backing track to kind of play this along to as you kind of get it together, head on over to the link in the description where you can get the backing track, the full write-up, everything else you need to kind of get this together. For now, I'm going to play through the whole thing so you can see it nice and slowly. I'm not going to count, so I'm not distracting you with that, apart from counting myself in. So here we go. Wish me luck. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there we have it, guys. I really wish you the best of luck with that. Go over the video as many times as you need to try and work through this, and I'll see you again in another lesson.